everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive. Today we're going to be looking at minimalism and consumerism
Ooh,
and how they impact happiness.
interesting.
Now, whether you're at a crossroads in your life or just kind of exploring different philosophies, or maybe you're just curious,
Yeah.
we're going to unpack some surprising insights from research
Okay.
and some practical takeaways that go way beyond just those simple definitions.
I'm excited.
Me too. I think this will be really interesting.
Yeah.
What I think is so fascinating about both of these is that they seem like total opposites,
Yeah.
but they both tap into our deep-seated desires.
Yeah, totally. And it's like this constant
Yeah.
tug of war between less is more
Yeah.
and wanting the latest and greatest.
Exactly. It's like this constant internal struggle.
Right.
So to kick things off,
Okay.
let's define our terms.
Sounds good.
So minimalism is all about focusing on what truly adds value to your life and eliminating the excess.
Right.
Think Marie Kondo, but for every aspect of your life.
Exactly.
Right,
It's
yeah.
not just about decluttering your physical space, like your house or your closet,
Right.
but it could extend to your commitments, relationships, even how you spend your time.
Yeah, like every aspect of your life.
Yeah, simplifying and prioritizing what truly matters.
I like that, simplifying and prioritizing.
Yeah.
So on the other side of the coin, we have consumerism,
Okay.
which is all about acquiring goods and services.
Right.
So that new phone, that
Mhm.
fancy coffee,
Yeah.
that subscription box that promises to solve all your problems.
Oh, yeah, all those promises.
Right. It's so ingrained in our culture, and it's tied to how we measure success.
It really, think about it. How often do we equate success with material possessions?
Oh, absolutely.
The car you drive, the size of your house, the brands you wear.
Oh, yeah.
These become markers of achievement in a consumerist society.
Yeah. It's like keeping up with the Joneses.
Totally.
Yeah.
And these messages are everywhere, influencing our desires and behaviors.
It's true. I swear every time I go on social media, I'm bombarded with ads for things that I didn't even know existed 5 minutes ago.
I know.
And then I'm like, oh, should I have bought that?
Exactly. It's that pressure to keep up, to have the newest, the best, the most.
Yeah.
And marketers, they're keenly aware of this.
Yeah.
They play on our insecurities and desires.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
So let's dive into minimalism a little bit more
Okay.
and unpack what are the potential benefits?
Sure.
One of the biggest arguments in favor of minimalism is that less clutter equals less stress.
Yeah.
So when your physical space is organized, your mind feels clearer.
Right. It's almost like you're decluttering your mental space as well.
Totally fewer things to manage,
Less to clean.
less to worry about.
Exactly. It's about creating a sense of calm and order, both internally and externally.
Yeah, and it's not just anecdotal evidence. There's research that backs this up.
Yeah.
People who live in cluttered environments tend to have higher levels of the stress hormone cortisol,
Yeah.
which we know can lead to a whole bunch of health issues.
Right. It can impact your sleep, your mood, even your immune system.
It's not just about aesthetics, it's about your well-being.
Totally.
And then there's the financial freedom aspect.
Oh, yeah.
Minimalists are often really intentional about their spending.
They are.
They resist those impulse buys.
Yeah.
And they focus on quality over quantity.
Yeah. And that can lead to greater financial stability, less debt, and more freedom to pursue experiences or investments that really align with their values.
So it's like breaking free from that work, earn, spend cycle.
Yeah. And taking control of your finances.
Yeah, I like that.
Hmm.
And that brings us to the shift from material goods to experiences. So instead of buying the latest gadget,
Right.
maybe you invest in a weekend getaway with friends.
Yeah.
Or finally take that cooking class you've been thinking about.
I love that.
It's about prioritizing memories over possessions.
And there's a fascinating psychological reason why experiences tend to bring more lasting happiness.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
It's called the peak-end rule. So we tend to judge an experience based on its most intense moments and how it ends,
Okay.
not necessarily the duration.
Interesting.
So even if a vacation has a few hiccups, the overall positive memories will overshadow the negative ones.
Okay.
And that doesn't apply to material possessions in the same way.
Oh, that's so interesting.
Yeah.
That makes so much sense because you can't really relive the feeling of unwrapping that new gadget.
Right.
But the memories of that concert you went to with your friends, that stays with you.
Absolutely. And you've touched on this briefly, but research actually shows that people who prioritize experiences over possessions report higher levels of satisfaction and happiness.
It's like they're creating stories.
Yeah.
Not just stuff.
Exactly. Experiences foster social connection, personal growth, and a sense of accomplishment.
Yeah.
They shape our identity in a way that just buying things really can.
So it sounds like minimalism has some pretty compelling benefits.
Yeah.
But it's important to remember that it's not like a one-size-fits-all solution.
It's not.
It might not be practical or even enjoyable for everyone.
Right.
Like, what about the people who find genuine joy in collecting things?
Yeah.
Whether it's stamps or vintage records or a meticulously curated wardrobe, some people really thrive on being surrounded by objects.
Yeah, that's a really important point. Minimalism isn't about deprivation.
Right.
It's about being conscious and intentional about what you bring into your life.
Yeah.
And making sure those things align with your values and bring you genuine joy.
Okay, I love that.
Yeah.
So it's not about, like, getting rid of everything. It's about curating.
It's about being mindful.
Yeah, being mindful about what you have.
Exactly. Yeah. It's about finding that sweet spot
Totally.
between having what you need and appreciating what you have.
Okay, so we've talked about minimalism quite a bit.
Yeah.
Now let's shift gears a little and look at consumerism.
Okay.
It's easy to, like, demonize it.
Yeah.
But there are benefits to consumerism, too.
Absolutely. I think it's important to acknowledge that consumerism isn't inherently bad.
Right.
I mean, it plays a significant role in driving innovation, providing jobs, and improving living standards.
Yeah, like, think about all the amazing things we have access to because of consumerism. Life-saving medical technologies.
Right.
Comfortable and stylish clothing.
Yeah.
Convenient and efficient appliances.
Totally.
Like, all these things make our lives easier and more enjoyable.
Exactly. And beyond just the practical benefits,
Yeah.
consumerism offers like this powerful avenue for self-expression.
Oh, yeah.
Think about fashion art music, even home decor.
Totally.
These things allow people to express their individuality, their creativity, their cultural identity.
Yeah, like my record collection. It's
Yeah.
like a tangible reflection of my taste in music.
Exactly.
And it brings me constant joy.
Yeah. And let's not forget the economic benefits.
Oh, yeah.
Consumer spending creates jobs, supports businesses, contributes to overall economic growth.
So it's complex.
It is. It's a complex system with both positive and negative aspects.
Right.
It's not as simple as good versus bad.
But we can't ignore the downsides either.
Right.
Like, we've all experienced that rush of excitement when we buy something new, that feeling of, I deserve this.
Oh, yeah.
But how long does that feeling actually last?
That's where we bump into the hedonic treadmill.
Oh.
The idea that the happiness we get from buying new things is often fleeting.
Oh.
We get a temporary boost, but then we quickly adapt to that new level of normal.
Yeah.
And we're back to wanting more.
It's like chasing a carrot on a stick.
Exactly.
I feel like I'm constantly on that treadmill.
I think we all are to some extent.
Yeah, like when you get a new phone,
Uh-huh.
it's amazing for like a few weeks.
Right.
And then it just becomes your phone.
It just becomes part of your everyday life.
And then you're already thinking about like the next upgrade.
Exactly. And this cycle can be really detrimental, both financially and emotionally.
Yeah.
It can lead to overspending, debt, and a constant feeling of dissatisfaction.
Right. Because you're always chasing that next thing.
Yeah, that next thing that promises happiness.
Yeah. And it's not just about spending money.
No.
This cycle can apply to like almost anything.
Right.
Social media validation,
Career achievement.
even relationships.
Yeah, we're constantly seeking that next hit of dopamine, that feeling of satisfaction that ultimately fades away.
So we're on this treadmill and then we're constantly comparing ourselves to others.
Exactly. And what's interesting is that this constant striving is often fueled by social comparison.
Yeah.
We see what others have, what they're buying, where they're traveling,
Yeah.
and we feel pressured to keep up.
It's like a double whammy.
It is the hedonic treadmill keeps us wanting more, and social comparison just adds fuel to the fire.
And social media just amplifies all of this.
Tenfold.
Yeah, so it's like, how do we even navigate this? Like, are we destined to be slaves to the hedonic treadmill and the pressures of consumerism?
Not necessarily.
Yeah.
I think the key takeaway here is awareness.
Okay.
By understanding these psychological mechanisms.
So the hedonic treadmill.
Social comparison marketing tactics.
Yeah.
We can start to make more conscious and intentional choices.
So it's about taking a step back.
Yeah.
And like questioning those impulses.
Exactly. Like, do I really need this new gadget? Or am I just chasing that fleeting feeling of satisfaction?
Yeah. Am I just trying to keep up with the Joneses?
Right. It's about becoming a more mindful consumer.
Okay.
Ask yourself, does this purchase align with my values? Will it truly enhance my life in a meaningful way? Or will it just add more clutter and debt?
Yeah, it's about shifting your focus from like fleeting pleasure to lasting fulfillment.
Exactly.
It's about like breaking free from that cycle.
Of want by regret.
Yes, exactly.
It's about cultivating a sense of contentment and gratitude for what you already have.
Okay.
It's about recognizing that true happiness comes from within, not from external possessions or achievements.
It sounds like finding that balance is key. Like, we don't have to completely reject consumerism or become like hardcore minimalists to
Right.
be.
Exactly.
Yes.
It's about finding that sweet spot where we can enjoy the benefits of both approaches without falling into their traps.
So mindful consumption.
Mindful consumption is key.
What would that look like in practice?
Okay.
Like, what advice would you give to someone who is trying to strike that balance?
Okay. Well, if you're leaning towards minimalism, I would say regularly question the value of new acquisitions.
Okay.
Do you really need it? Will it truly enhance your life? Or is it just another thing to take care of?
Right.
Focus on quality over quantity.
Yeah.
And invest in things that will last and remember experiences and relationships.
Yeah.
Often bring more lasting joy than material possessions.
Okay. That's really good advice.
Thanks.
What about for those of us who like to treat ourselves every now and then?
Yeah.
How can we be more mindful consumers?
Be intentional with your purchases. Ask yourself, does this item align with my values?
Okay.
Will it truly improve my life in a meaningful way? Does it bring me genuine joy? Avoid buying things just because they're trendy or on sale. Resist that keeping up with the Joneses mentality.
It's about making choices that align with your values.
Yes.
And contribute to your overall well-being. Not just buying things for the sake of buying.
Right. And sometimes the most satisfying purchases are those that enhance experiences.
Okay.
Like a great pair of hiking boots for that upcoming trip.
Yeah.
Or a high-quality cookbook that inspires you to try new recipes with loved ones.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into minimalism versus consumerism, what's the most important thing you want listeners to take away from this conversation?
I think the biggest takeaway is that happiness is a complex and personal experience.
Yeah.
What brings one person joy might not resonate with another.
Right.
There's no one-size-fits-all formula.
Yeah.
Minimalism and consumerism are simply two different approaches, each with their own pros and cons.
Right.
The real magic happens when you take the time to reflect on your own values and what truly matters to you.
So it's not about picking a side or labeling yourself.
Exactly.
It's about creating a lifestyle that feels authentic and fulfilling.
It is, and that might mean incorporating aspects of both minimalism and consumerism.
Yeah.
Maybe you declutter your physical space, but still indulge in those occasional purchases that spark joy.
Yeah.
Or perhaps you prioritize experiences over material possessions, but still appreciate the convenience and comfort that certain products provide.
Totally.
The key is to find what works for you.
It's a journey, not a destination.
It is.
And as we learn and grow, our values and priorities may shift, and that's okay.
Exactly.
What matters is that we're making conscious choices
Yes.
that align with who we are and what we want out of life.
Well said. As you continue to ponder these ideas,
Yeah.
I want to leave you with one final thought.
Okay, I like it.
If happiness isn't solely about acquiring more,
Yeah,
could it be about appreciating what we already have?
that's a powerful question.
Maybe contentment is the real key.
I love that. So on that note, we'll wrap up this deep dive. We've covered a lot of ground today, exploring both the philosophies and the practicalities of minimalism and consumerism.
We have.
Hopefully this has sparked some thoughtful reflection along the way.
I hope so.
And we would love to hear your thoughts. Have you experimented with either of these lifestyles?
Yeah.
What brings you the most lasting joy?
Let us know.
Share your experiences in the comments below. Until next time, keep exploring
Questioning.
and keep seeking out those pockets of happiness in your everyday life.
We'll catch you on the next deep dive.
Bye, everyone.